This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on the South Today, an Invercargill City Councillor admits the decision to close the Southland Museum and Art Gallery may have been too hasty. Dunedin's Hope Centre gets ready for its opening early next month, and it's mainly due to the hard work of one woman. And Air New Zealand considers restoring flights to Wanaka as it looks to grow its regional network. Kia ora, good evening, I'm Melissa Barton. The decision to close the Southland Museum and Art Gallery may have been hasty, according to an Invercargill City Councillor. Following information provided to Council at a meeting on Tuesday, Councillor Lindsay Abbott said he's not scared to say he may have been mistaken about the decision to close. Sharon Rees reports.
2, 4, 6, 8, we want an opening date. Open the museum!
Protesters against the closure of the Southland Museum and Art Gallery made their presence known outside of the Invercargill City Council on Tuesday before crowding council chambers. Submitters raised their concerns about the sudden closure of the museum, handing over a 1,000 signature petition to council. Submitter Lindsay Buckingham, who noted his 40 years experience in the construction industry, said the decision to close had been a big mistake.
I see a wrong, and I want to right it. It's as simple as that. We have made a mistake. There has been a mistake made in terms of closing the building. This is a serious issue, and I will say it again for about the fourth time. I believe in all confidence and with all due respect, a grievous mistake has been made. We need to recognise it. Hopefully I can convince you we need to reassess and then go forward from there.
Councillor Lindsay Abbott asked Buckingham whether he believed a different approach could have been taken, as was done with the Gore District Council building, which was recently declared earthquake prone.
I'm conscious as you are that the Gore Civic building up here is earthquake prone. And I believe that the notice on the door, enter at your own risk, makes it compliant. So you're saying that's exactly what we could do here?
Yes, absolutely. Yes. Yep.
Returning to the topic later in the meeting, Abbott raised questions as to whether the museum closure had been necessary. He said he had heard such passion, incredible statements and information he wasn't aware of before, some of which was very factual. He said it worried him that the building in Gore was an earthquake-prone building and is still allowed, under the right categories, to be utilised. He went on to say he wondered if the council had been hasty and that he was not scared to say he may have been mistaken. Council yesterday approved a grant of $9.5 million to bring forward the redevelopment of the museum from its original schedule of 2027 to ensure its development in the next 5 years. $200,000 was also granted to help establish a temporary presence in Invercargill until the redevelopment was complete. Sharon Rees, The South Today.
Fire crews attended 2 suspicious car fires overnight in Otago and Southland within an hour of each other. A Fire and Emergency New Zealand spokesman says the Outram Volunteer Fire Brigade was called about 11:30 p.m. to a car engulfed in flames in Waipori Falls Road near Berwick. An hour later, the Mataura Volunteer Fire Crew was called to another car while involved in flames in State Highway 96 between Mataura and Hedgehope just before 12:30 a.m. this morning, the spokesman said. Police were again notified and the fire was being treated as suspicious. Dunedin's Hope Centre is ready for its opening early next month. It's been 4 years since Life Matters was established in the city and has been a labour of love for one woman in particular.
On the 1st of June, the Hope Centre's volunteers will open the doors for the first time. The centre will be the first of its kind in New Zealand and will provide support for people affected by suicide. The Hope Centre will also be the headquarters of the Life Matters Suicide Prevention Trust. Chairperson Corinda Taylor is looking forward to the centre being a welcoming place.
What we want to achieve with the centre is a safe place for people to come and have a conversation. If you have any problems finding good support, whether it's being travelling through the mental health system, we can help you navigate that.
The Life Matters Suicide Prevention Trust has been operating in Dunedin for the last 4 years. Taylor says the location in the city centre's Albion Place was a conscious choice.
Yeah, this is a brilliant location, and that is what we specifically looked for, a place with good visibility, easy access. We're close to the hospital and close to the university, and we've got quite a big student volunteer team behind us, working with us. We're taking on lots of interns, and yes, this is exciting.
Suicide and mental illness are often closely linked. Taylor says the Hope Centre will be there to provide assistance.
We don't want people to be ashamed of their mental health, and the key thing here is that there is help out there. You need to ask for it, and we can help you to get that help.
The Hope Centre will act as an information centre to assist those seeking help and for concerned loved ones. Alongside this service, the centre will host support networks, bereavement support and education programs.
For people that are bereaved by suicide, we do understand how hard it is to do the investigations that come with a suicide, through the police, the coroners, investigations through the DHBs, or it could be the Health and Disability Commissioner. We can help you with that. Now, typically there are no other services doing this kind of support in New Zealand, and I believe we are the first of its kind in New Zealand, and we're proud to say we are opening in Dunedin.
If you or someone you know is experiencing mental health issues or suicidal thoughts, the names of agencies who can help are on the screen. Ben Bootsma, The South Today.
Flights are back on track this afternoon after fog delayed flights at Dunedin Airport for the second time this week. Earlier today, an airport spokeswoman said an Auckland flight left at 6:25 a.m, but all other flights were still on the ground. The weather settled down in the late morning, allowing flights to and from Dunedin to go ahead. Air New Zealand is considering restoring flights to Wanaka as part of a plan to grow its regional network by 20% during the next 5 years. The airline has just announced a 5% fare increase across the board, but says it's committed to servicing regional New Zealand.
The hum of commercial passenger aeroplanes could soon be returning to Wanaka's airport. In a note to staff, Air New Zealand Chief Executive Christopher Luxton says the carrier is considering options for regional airports, including Wanaka. The airline flew between Wanaka and Christchurch between March 2004 and 2013 through its subsidiary Eagle Air. However, it's understood timing, cost and unreliability of flights were reported to be factors in its demise. The Otago Daily Times reported in March that tourism injects around $500 million a year into Wanaka's economy, creating jobs and growth. The region has been ranked the top in New Zealand for percentage growth in visitor spend for more than 2 years, recording 17% growth the past year on top of 20% growth the previous year. In his note to staff, Luxton says the regional aviation market in New Zealand has never been more vibrant or healthy. He says they compete with Jetstar in the bigger regional centres. Daryl Baser, The South Today.
Still to come on The South Today, the Central Otago District Council ensures youth issues will be discussed by those affected the most and their voices heard. And it's out with the outdated and in with the new ambulances for St John Dunedin.
For all your news from the southern regions as it happens, go to our Facebook page. The South Today, connecting you with your community thanks to New Zealand On Air.
Why wait for seed to germinate? Why not do it the smart way? For instant results, call Ready Lawn today, or for more information, go to readylawn.co.nz. You're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer. You owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole Map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
It's on again, the Star Regent 24-hour book sale. Starts noon the 8th of June. Don't miss out.
At Action Engineering, the team make their mark as innovators in engineering because they don't just make things, they provide solutions. Call now on 477 1643 or go online to see the services they provide.
At the Hard to Find Bookshop, we sell quality books on all subjects from the rare to the recent, and where viable, we will come to you. We have a great reputation for integrity and honesty, so if you're downsizing or sorting an estate and have books to sell, contact us.
Garrador Dunedin, delivering quality stylish garage doors in Dunedin for over 15 years. New doors, replacement doors, repairs and maintenance are all part of Garrador's quality service. Garrador Dunedin offers a full range of modern quality doors to suit any home. Come visit the team at 553 Kaikoura Valley Road. Visit www.garrador.co.nz or call us on 488 5676.
Massive menswear sale on now. Oaks Campbell Menswear have brought out a top suppliers warehouse and factory shop. Nothing but bargains for you. Hurry in, South Dunedin store only.
Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
Helping New Zealanders to do more. Talk to MTF today.
Welcome back. Gloria Vale founder Hopeful Christian has died at the secluded religious community after a battle with cancer. Christian, who was formerly known as Neville Cooper, died yesterday afternoon. He was in his 90s. It is understood Christian had been suffering from prostate cancer and also had a heart attack. The controversial leader founded the isolated community in 1969 and was its leader for more than 40 years. He served 11 months in prison in 1995 on sexual abuse charges. A group of 15 young people have been selected to be the voice for issues important to youth in Central Otago. The group's duties will include talks with Central Otago District Council. Simon Henderson reports from Alexandra.
Newly appointed members of the Central Otago Youth Council met last week to discuss issues facing young people. Chairperson Emily Downey said communicating openly with adults was a goal for her.
I just wanted to be a part of something that was going to make some change within the youth community and something that where we could talk to adults about these issues openly as well. To me personally, I think a huge issue is like equality within our community and more openness about people of different like if you're transgender or gay or bisexual. It's not very openly talked about, especially in a small community.
The Youth Council would be speaking to young people across the district over the next few weeks to understand the issues that were important to them. Simon Henderson for the South Today.
Dunedin's St John Ambulance Service has new ambulances. The new vehicles were commissioned this afternoon and feature some impressive new features.
Taking time out of their busy schedule to celebrate two recent arrivals. St John were rolling out new kit designed to make it safer and easier for patients and ambulance officers.
So the power load stretchers are an integral part of these new Generation 2 ambulances, and they're used widely overseas. They're built by Stryker in the States, and so they've had a lot of use before we actually got them in New Zealand, but they're actually designed just to minimise manual handling.
Although it could seem special for Dunedin to receive two new ambulances, Doug Third says it was just a question of time.
You know, we have a national replacement program for vehicles, and the vehicles get replaced at 8 years or 400,000 kilometres. And so as part of that program, because we're a busy city, running about 100,000 kilometres a year for vehicles, it just came up on rotation that we were due to get new vehicles.
He admits these two aren't completely new, but today was the only opportunity they have to have them dedicated and blessed. St John typically runs 4 ambulances during the day and 3 at night. Daryl Baser, The South Today.
After the break on The South Today, smoke-free advocates in Central Otago and Southland hope for a ban on smoking in public places, and we have tomorrow's weather for you.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole Map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
At the Hard to Find Bookshop, we sell quality books on all subjects from the rare to the recent, and where viable, we will come to you. We have a great reputation for integrity and honesty, so if you're downsizing or sorting an estate and have books to sell, contact us.
Happy with this product demonstration, Ralphie. Oh, relax. It's all about balance. The balance between softness and strength. And my balance is perfect. So we won't fall? Of course not.
Hi, Ralphie.
Oh, hey, whoa. You fell for it. Yep, I fell for it. Cotton Softs. Softness and strength you can trust. I'm Cotton Soft on the environment too.
Massive menswear sale on now. Oaks Campbell Menswear have brought out a top suppliers warehouse and factory shop. Nothing but bargains for you. Hurry in, South Dunedin store only.
Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
Helping New Zealanders to do more. Talk to MTF today.
At Action Engineering, the team make their mark as innovators in engineering because they don't just make things, they provide solutions. Call now on 477 1643 or go online to see the services they provide.
It's on again, the Star Regent 24-hour book sale. Starts noon the 8th of June. Don't miss out.
Why wait for seed to germinate? Why not do it the smart way? For instant results, call Ready Lawn today, or for more information, go to readylawn.co.nz.
Join us! 7 p.m. Saturdays, 2 p.m. Sundays, 3:30 Tuesdays. Oakley's off the bar.
Thanks for staying with us. When Oamaru's Nairi Familton signed up for a St John First Aid course in 1975, little did she know she would still be involved with the organisation more than 40 years later. She was one of the 3 long-serving volunteers recognised for their efforts at the North Otago St John Ambulance Awards on Friday night. Mrs Familton added a second gold bar to her 12-year service medal, replacing multiple silver bars for her 42 years service. Mrs Familton said a desire to try something new led to a pastime she's dedicated more than half of her life to. Also honoured were Muriel Parsons and David McDonald. Smoke-free advocates in Central Otago and Southland say a change of policy around smoking in public spaces in Queenstown is likely to happen soon. A smoke-free campaign started by a Queenstown woman this week has caused an uproar in the resort as well as a huge response on social and international media.
Queenstown woman Liz Smith hopes her presentation to the Queenstown Lakes District Council this week has encouraged policymakers to make Queenstown beaches smoke-free. Smith picked up over 10,500 cigarette butts from beaches in the resort in 1 month and took it to her council meeting.
Yes, that caused a bit of around the table.
She says playing the local card seems to have resonated well with Queenstown Mayor Jim Bolt.
I'm a resident here, have young kids here, I'm a ratepayer, and the local community here should have their voice heard equally as tourists.
Smith says Mayor Bolt is keen to review policies around smoking in public spaces in the resort.
You know, the areas that they have at the moment currently that are smoke-free and whether they can extend that.
Otago and Southland health promotion specialist Jo O'Connor is supportive of Smith's campaign. She says health professionals have pushed to ban smoking in public spaces for years and says a local's voice increases pressure on the council.
Councils, full stop, are slow change makers, but it's time for bold leadership from Queenstown Lakes District Council.
Cancer Society Health Promotion Manager Sophie Carty says Queenstown could lead the way to a smoke-free New Zealand by 2025.
Getting more community voice is important, so letting your councils know is also really important because it's a whole of New Zealand goal, and I think everybody needs to get on board to support it.
2 recent anti-smoking policies that have been implemented nationally include plain packaging and a ban on advertising cigarettes on cabinet displays in supermarkets and dairies. While the council did not indicate when it will review its policies, Smith is positive action is on its way. Mina Amso, The South Today.
And now recapping tonight's top stories on The South Today. The decision to close the Southland Museum and Art Gallery may have been hasty, according to an Invercargill City Councillor. It's been 4 years since Life Matters was established in the city, and it's been a labour of love for one woman in particular. And Air New Zealand is considering restoring flights to Wanaka as part of a plan to grow its regional network by 20% during the next 5 years. And now a look at what's happening in tomorrow's ODT. Welcome, Barry Stewart. What have you got for us?
Hi, Melissa. Lots of good stuff in the paper tomorrow. Airbnb earnings over summer in Dunedin more than doubled, so we're having a look at that, and accommodation providers are concerned about that, and the council is looking at the issue. So more on that as time goes on. The big news tomorrow, of course, tomorrow afternoon, will be the budget. Political and business editor Dean McKenzie gives us an insight into what Finance Minister Grant Robinson will hand out in this year's budget. So look out for that. Also check us out online tomorrow, because we will have updates as we go. And of course in Friday's paper we will give a detailed review and analysis and reaction to everything in the budget. So Dean McKenzie will be online tomorrow giving us a little snapshot summary of the highlights, so look out for that. So that's all ahead of us. Otago Cricket has lost one of its superstars. Key fast bowler Neil Wagner is moving to the North Island, so he's been with us for some time, so that's a loss in that department. I was going to mention the daily flights to Wanaka, but you've beaten me to that one. But we also have the burglary stats, and they are up across the entire southern region, including Invercargill, Dunedin, Otago. But police can offer no answers to that, so we have a wee bit of a closer look into that one.
Well, maybe some people need to get together and form more sort of neighbourhood watch groups again.
Well, they still happen, of course. Neighbourhood watch, whether I'm not sure how effective they are, but they're certainly still out there doing a good job, no doubt.
Well, thank you very much,
Thank
and you
you
can catch that all on tomorrow's ODT. And now it's time for a look at tomorrow's weather.
Tonight's weather proudly brought to you by MoleMap.
Today's southern view is of Dunedin Central City. Looking at the situation, an airflow will remain west to southwesterly for the next couple of weeks, with cold fronts regularly passing over the southern districts and bringing periods of showers and gusty winds. Looking at what's in store for the southern towns, Balclutha, Catlins, Gore and Lumsden can all expect a southwesterly change, bringing brief showers and a high of 10. Moving westwards to the central towns, Alexandra, Queenstown and Wanaka are in for moderate winds with clear skies and a high of 10. Tiana has a southwesterly change coming with brief showers again, 10 degrees is the high. Looking at what's in store further north, along the coast, Timaru and Oamaru can expect moderate winds, some high cloud and a high of 11. Oamaru and Twizel are in for moderate westerlies, fine weather and a high of 10. In Dunedin, it will be fine tonight with westerly winds and an overnight low of 4. Mostly fine and sunny tomorrow with moderate westerlies and increasing high cloud. Some showers developing mid-afternoon with a period of colder winds to follow. Skies will clear tomorrow night, a high of 11 and a low of 3. And it should be fine on Friday with sunny periods and some cloud and moderate cool winds, and again temperatures ranging from 11 to 3. And in Invercargill, there will be cloud increasing tonight with freshening westerlies and an overnight low of 6. Cloudy tomorrow with some showers developing late morning, then clearing during the afternoon with fresh gusty cold winds, 10 and 2. And it's fine on Friday with sunny periods with some cloud and moderate westerly winds, a high of 11 and a low of 5. And that's our news for this Wednesday. For the latest news from the southern region, you can follow us on Facebook, YouTube and at channel39.co.nz. I hope you have a great evening. Take care. Ka kite anō.
This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.